We're here in the Hyatt Place Hotel on Gay Street. It's kind of in some ways an improbable return of a wonderful space to its original use, but it has an incredibly rich history.
You're right. I'm glad that we finally have a historic hotel. So many other cities do. I think all the other cities in Tennessee have a historic hotel downtown, but we have not all these years, although we've had two historic hotel buildings on Gay Street. The Andrew Johnson and the Farragut are still here, and now the Fair is reopened as the Hyatt Place. This site, believe it or not, has actually been the site of three hotels over the years. The Hattie House was here, then the Imperial and the Farragut. Very patriotic name, the name of David Glasgow Farragut, the greatest naval hero of the U.S. during the Civil War. And the Farragut was beginning construction before the U.S. entered World War I, and then the war hit, and suddenly they didn't have materials anymore, and it was hard to get things done. And it wasn't actually finished until 1919, and opened in early 1919, about 3 months after the war was over. And when they opened it had electric everything. They had bathrooms in every room, which was unusual in those days, and you didn't have to go down the hall to go to the bathroom.
Right. One of my favorite stories is that, being an SEC football fan, that the SEC actually started in this building.
You're right. The elite of NCAA from across the South came here and met in this hotel for several days. That was in 1932. That was the beginning of the SEC. Did that right here in this building.
So fast forward, it was a hotel until what point?
1970s, 1976 or 7, it was a hotel all through that time.
Then 40 years after that, it was not a hotel. So it's been it entered a new phase that was quite lengthy as well, and really saw, I don't know, would you agree, a kind of a decline of the building. It was certainly more and more vacant.
I kept hearing one plan after another, some plans for actually affordable housing and things like that. Various things happened.
Well, Dover Development stepped in, and really that added a touch to it that maybe the other plans hadn't, and that was that you had in the person of Rick Dover a person who had memories connected to this building. He went to some extent to have historical features replaced. The awnings had been removed long ago, and he replaced those as best he could from historic photographs, making those replicate.
Yeah, it looks great.
So it was a personal thing with him. And at first, the discussion was a mixture of maybe a few hotel rooms with condos, or maybe condos, or just, which way would it go? And he said that he finally went with his heart and said, this is a hotel. That's what this is. So, how fortunate are we that that's what happened. So the result is what we're sitting in now.
This episode of Then and Now is brought to you by Hyatt Place, Knoxville Downtown.